TapGush Rescue, a short, hilarious, accountable story of a single mom, gran, and 3 children overcoming a first hot tap. Many years ago, while feeding the supper scraps and pellets to my dogs, my 12-year-old son comes running out in a panic. "Mom, Mom, come quick, Mom!" Hearing the tearful desperation in his voice, I realize how time seems to stand still in an emergency for some strange reason. With a chilling sense of dread running down my spine, visions of my son's biggest fear of being chased by a wasp and finally having been stung came to mind. I slowly turned around to still my mind for the onslaught of what was to come. Walked inside trying to calm him and was met by the sound of gushing water and a flooding kitchen. Oh no! Oh my gosh! The hot water tap in the kitchen sink is blown off its top, which closes it. I remembered with dread that the main tap outside, which switches off the water to this rental house, doesn't switch off properly. Oh, what to do? What do I do? I kept saying over and over, not seeming to make sense. Trying to make my brain work, but staring blankly at my younger 18-year-old daughter, who calmly giggled at my shocked expression and said, "Calm down, Mom. I don't know what you should do." "Hey dude, I think it's broken." She calmly reassures me. She's the ultra-calm child. Visions of her using the opportunity to take a shower in the kitchen came to mind. Nothing seems to faze her. Where's the missing part of the tap? Not on the floor? It must be somewhere in the sink under all that hot water. "Ow!" I said as I dipped my hand in to retrieve any parts I could find, while getting soaked in the hot water spraying up in the air from the pipe. My 19-year-old daughter grabbed the towel and shoved it on the tap. "Ow, it's hot! Ouch!" She promptly backed off and getting hot water showered all over her head. That didn't stop her running in again and again though, with the same results. It was actually quite hilarious after the 3rd repetition, even though the situation was a little dangerous and we all could have got seriously burned. She looked a little like a bull about to charge, then stopping, then charging again. Like I said, pretty funny stuff. Needless to say, in between all the panicking, she put her traumatized brother first, who thought we were doomed to have a hot water fountain in our kitchen, and gave him some rescue remedy to calm him down. Then promptly threw herself back into the mission at hand, barely able to hold on to the towel and stepping backwards and into the dog's water bowl, slipping and sliding, trying to regain her composure. Absolutely hilarious. I was trying to get my now seemingly mushing brain to work to find a solution, but could only smile when my older daughter laughed at my younger one and said, "You called Mom dude." My children, always managing to somehow not focus on the actual crisis. Finally, out of sheer desperation, when my older daughter shoved the towel over the tap for the 3rd time, I grabbed the screwdriver and jammed it over the towel, forcing it into the gushing hole, which thankfully slowed the water down. Now I was standing with one hand holding the screwdriver and searching blindly for the missing tap parts with the other. I must have looked like a wet, dripping, useless plumber wannabe. Even in our moments of desperation, the actual stupidity of it all became apparent, and we were all roaring with laughter, soaked and shivering but hanging in there, trying to figure out what to do next. Finally, my brain kicked in. "Switch off the geyser, quickly," I shouted, "before it runs empty and burns out." Gran calmly started from the beginning of the trip switches, as if time was of no issue. None of the trip switches were labelled. My son, now a little calmer, ran to help her, found the correct trip switch and promptly clicked it off. I then found the 2 missing pieces and the top of the tap. Having no idea of how a tap is actually put together, common logical sense was my only hope. I sent my son to fetch my socket set and found the correct size 17 socket to fit over the tap parts I had now pieced together. My older daughter, who had taken over the task of hanging onto the screwdriver, carefully slid the towel off the gushing tap, and I quickly slid the pieces in place and tried to screw them in. Damn, no luck. It just wouldn't go in. Oh my gosh, now what? Just because I'm a woman, was I such a useless handyman? I thought to myself as I quickly took the top of the cold tap off to see if I had the pieces on correctly. Everything looked the same. What now? It's late and it's dark outside. No plumber will come out now. I don't want to call a neighbour who might be even more useless than me. I didn't know them anyway. We pretty much kept to ourselves. What do I do? I have to sort this out myself. I can do this. Please help me, I said a silent, desperate prayer to anyone on the other side who I desperately hoped was listening. Then it came to me. Guys, please go and get the ladder from outside and climb into the roof. Go slowly, be careful and don't panic. We can do this. There should be a tap somewhere on the geyser. This is our last resort. It will stop the water until we can get a plumber in the morning. I shouted to my children who were already bringing the ladder. Gran, please open the hot taps wider in the bath and in the basin. Let me try one more time, I shouted to my mom, who looked at me curiously but followed my request. Ah, success. That, thankfully, instantly eased off the pressure just enough for the pieces to slip into place, and I quickly screwed them in, tightly. I couldn't believe it. We didn't need to climb into the roof anymore. We'd done it. In a moment of crisis, we stuck together. Yes, we'd run around like a bunch of soaking wet, laughing idiots, but we had done it. Together. I love my family. We have plenty of squabbles and disagreements, but we have a lot of love and, thankfully, tons of logic together.